Welcome back to the second day of integration training. The first day we saw about basics of integration, and we also talked about the product we are going to talk all over this training, which is Software AG Web Methods Integration Server. We saw what is on day 6. We saw different components of web methods. So today I'm going to talk about the training overview, what we're going to cover here, and a little bit touch on the development side of the web method, right? So as we already saw, web methods have different products here. So we are going to start with web method integration service development. So if I go to service development, the first thing here is the development platform. How do we develop in web methods? We use the IDE called Software AG Designer, which is an Eclipse-based tool. So I'm just going to open my designer, which I have already installed in my PC, Software AG Designer. So while this is loading, I'm going to show you that in my Windows services, I have installed the Web Methods Integration Server. I have actually installed API Gateway on top of the integration server as well. So that's what it's showing here as running. So now I am going to launch my workspace in Eclipse. So Web Methods by default opens on the port number 5555. So the integration server default port number. So I have installed the server in my local. You can install, you can actually connect to a different server which is installed in a different location with a different port number. So right now for the training purposes, I have installed it in the local. So I'll be just connecting to my local host with the port number 5555. So I have my designer open. So this, the Software AG has done their own perspectives on the Eclipse for Software AG development. If I go and see all these perspectives, if you see here, there you have the Eclipse perspectives which comes within the Eclipse, which is like the regular Java perspectives. And you see here several other perspectives like rules development, service development. So this is what we are going to look at. So this is the service development perspective. So in our notes, we saw we are going to see service development in detail, starting with what is the development platform. So that's when we're going to go here to the service development perspective. You have your top menu bar and you have your package navigator. In this, I have several servers I have connected to. I'm just going to expand my local server, which I have installed locally here. So I'm going to go here and say local. I have installed it in port number 5555. And now I loaded. I think the password is pre-saved. It's just directly loaded. Normally it would ask for a password. So I want to see two things here. So basically as soon as you enter the server, you see the basic usage, and it's a nice dashboard kind of thing where you see how much memory is free and all those things. So I want to see logs and packages. Logs is somewhere all your executions gets logged. If you have any logging related to, if it is any error, if it is any server related logs, you have segregation of logs here, right? So the second one I want to show here is the management. So here in the package management, you see the list of packages loaded in this server, which some comes by default when you install. So if you see the packages which starts with WM, these are the packages Web Methods provides us, and all these packages I created them, right? So if you see everything with the WM starts with WM is Web Methods. So those are provided packages by Software AG. So I go here, I see all my packages. So this is the development environment. When I have access as a developer to this tool, I can only see this packages list. I cannot log in as administrator. If you need to have an administrator access in order to log into this IS level, right? Integration server level. So here is my packages. So now I come to the second topic, what is package, right? So packages are nothing but you can define them as a small unit that you can use to deploy from one environment to the other environment, right? So you have collection of objects inside the package that you can put together and you can use them to deploy. Inside the package, you have something called folders, right? And then inside the folder, you have something called flow services. Now I'm going to create I have created some folder called training, right? And I created a package called ABC here, right? So, and I've created several packages here. Okay, so these are all different components that's available in webMethods. I'm going to create one package here. I can only have one same, like I cannot have another training package here, right? So I have to have a different name. So let's create a package called August 2020. Finish. And now I go and create a folder August 2020. Normally, I mean, unlike what I did here, we actually create a folder similar to the package name. I'll tell you why soon. So then inside the package, we can actually segregate different functionality here. Okay, here I'm going to have my documents, and then I'm going to have, usually in webMethods we follow camel case naming convention. So not to confuse you, I'm going to rename my package to docs or documents. And now I'm going to have a new package called, right click this new folder and I say services, right? So these are folders. Now I'm going to create my service. The service in webMethod, we call them as flow service, right? We call them flow service. And we also can develop Java services, right? So I'm going here, right click and say new flow service. First flow. Okay, I created a flow service. Okay. Now I have this in my services folder. This is in August services first flow. In webMethods, we have something called namespace. It is also available in any programming language. So if I talk about namespace, let me go to my OneNote here. So concept of namespace, right? Namespace. So what is it? So in any programming language, if it is in a .NET or Java or anything, you have something called function or method or class. So let's say we have a class, right? We have a class, and we are going to write like several functions inside the class. I have function 1, and then I have function 2. Now I want to call, I have another thing called function 3 inside the same class, and I'm going to use the function 1. How do I call it? I'll just directly call function 1 here, right? I can directly refer to the function 1 here, whatever, like inside my function. I will logic. In any language you can have razors or anything, right? You can call the function 1 and you can do the functionality here. Suppose if I wanted to call outside this class, I'm not even inside this class now. So I wanted to go, I go outside of this class, and this is a second class, class 2. And again I have, because it is a class 2, I have function, again function 1, function 2. In my function 2, I wanted to call this function 3. So how do I call? When I call this outside this class, I will tell, let's say this is a class 1. I'll say class 1 dot function 3, right? So when you call a function inside a class, you just have to put the name of the function, right? And when you call it from outside, you need to put the class name and function name. So we call this naming, the way we call it, as something called fully qualified name, right? So namespace is nothing but, it's called fully qualified name, right? So this is a common term, have been used for a long time now. So just wanted to explain it. So in webMethods, what is the fully qualified name for this service? So here we call everything as service instead of function. I just copy that and I'm going to paste it here. So this is my fully qualified name of my service. Okay, let me go back here. August 2020 services first floor. Looks okay, but what happened to my package? So this is one important thing to remember. Package name doesn't contribute to namespace. That means here, for example, I have training ABC and I have my service here. I'm just going to copy this, and I don't expect the training to come here in the namespace. I'm copying this. See, I have only starting from package level, so folder level. So package name doesn't contribute to the namespace. This is first thing, right? Another thing I like you to remember is services name collide, but folders doesn't collide. That's one thing. So what does that mean, right? So let me go back here. So I have ABC and I have services here, right? I'm going here and I'm going to create another folder. Inside this package, I'll create ABC. See, here also I have ABC. It doesn't cause any problem. I'm going to create another folder called services. It works well, same thing. And I'm going to create another folder called maps. Works well. Okay. So far it works well. Now I'm going to create a flow called doc mapper. It works well. I want the same name here. So let me go and see name, new, flow service, document mapper. Let me say next. Finish. The name ABC document mapper already exists. So whenever we do create a flow service, it will just check if the service already exists or not. This is the one example I want to show. The service names collide, but folders doesn't. Right? This is one concept we have to understand in the architecting, the web methods and packages. Normally, in any organization, they have a best practice. How to name your package, how to name your folders. Unless you don't define those things in the development guidelines, developers are going to create in their own. But still, if your organization have very much like distributed development and it's not synchronized in the initially, you still will have all this confusion in names. So it's very, very important to know these basics, right? Why do I get this error? Look there, right? So yes, this is what I wanted to explain. So so far we saw like what is a namespace, and we saw folder names doesn't collide, but service name does. And we saw what is packages, folders, and services. So with this, I'm going to stop today's training. We'll look forward for more videos.